Hi, everybody. Welcome to the NoMo Survivor Series. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the No More Heroin Survivor Series. The Survivor Series is an original product of No More Heroin, and we showcase inspirational testimonies of people that have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds to have and live a life of purpose and destiny. These are candid discussions with real people, with real life testimonies of overcoming addiction, life hardships, any struggle in life, and tonight is no exception. My guest tonight needs no introduction, but before I introduce him, I want to play one of his newest music videos. While the audience builds, please take the time to share this out. This track we're going to be listening to is called Frozen Tears by Colicchie. Please share.
I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Living in this hell, I'm trying to make it alive. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Now my soul was shattered, see the sadness in my eyes. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Never bad decision, I know that I survived. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Yeah. Not ashamed that I cried. Heartbreaks the funeral, another tragic loss. Time is passing, getting older, and I've been colder from the frost. Healing from the cuts and welts where every feeling's felt. Holding all the pain inside, I don't deal with it myself. There's ice running through my veins, falling frozen tears. And I'll maneuver through the shame until the coast is clear. Staring at the
Thank you, Kathy. What's up, Catherine?
I've endured dilemmas that have made my stomach turn. Pain of problems in my life, I'm sitting here, my lessons learned.
It's good to see everybody in the comments.
Yeah.
Please let us know where you're watching from.
A lot has changed over the years, my life's miraculous. I found that I don't need a girlfriend to find happiness. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. I'm living in this town, I'm trying to make it out alive. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. You can tell my soul was shattered, see the sadness in my eyes. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Never bad decision, I just pray that I survive. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Yeah. I'm not ashamed that I cried. Even when everything is dark and gloomy like the winter time, through all the misery and trauma, I will reach the finish line. I lost both my grandparents in the same month. And after that, the way I viewed the road, it kind of changed up. Because what's important then is not important now. I've been through so much, but all I ever do is smile. I conquered every obstacle, no battle and depression. No collection of complaints, just my next cat confessions. Self-reflection, the witness of disappointment, avoiding noise and responses that you really would destroy me. The anguish shows a purpose when I use it in my palms. The loneliness is normal, I would rather be alone. I'm feeling like this is something that I had to write. I lost a lot of friends, the reason that I crashed the bike. For all the losses, feeling dead inside, a lot of sacrifice. I was dumb, but then my daughter brought me back to life. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. I'm living in this hell, I'm trying to make it out alive. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. You can tell my soul was shattered, see the sadness in my eyes. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Never bad decision, I just pray that I survive. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I cried. Yeah. I'm not ashamed that I cried. I'm not ashamed that I cried.
So good, so good. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out. I know you have a really busy schedule, and you're working, you're writing music. First off, I would like to welcome all the viewers on Facebook. We are streaming live to the No More Heroin Survivor Series channel on YouTube as well. So please, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There'll be some new material, new content going up on the channel very, very soon. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for taking the time to share this out. My guest tonight really needs no introduction. Chaz Smith, aka Colicchie, is a hip hop and rap artist from Pittsburgh, PA, baby. What's the weather like up there? What's the current state of affairs up there, Chaz?
I mean, the weather is miserable today. It's cold. It was nice the last couple of days. But today's just really gloomy, gray, and depressing. And I don't know, a lot of our restaurants and bars and gyms have closed, but I don't know, very few select stores are open, like Walmart and I don't know, a couple other things. But other than that, it's pretty much just stay in your house and very little contact. And
Right.
I think about like 90% of our meetings are not going on now, but I'm sure within the next day or two, they'll all be done.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing to keep yourself occupied? Are you doing any live videos?
I mean, not really. I just really haven't been in the mood. Spending a lot of time with my daughter, doing computer stuff for work, writing music, cleaning my house, exercising, trying to stay connected with some close friends. That's pretty much it.
That sounds like a full schedule to me. When I texted you earlier, you said you were writing. Can you paint a picture for us? What does the creative process look like for Colicchie when he's writing?
I mean, it's different. Like usually, I actually wrote something on Twitter the other day about this, but I don't know, like the song I'm working on now, like I'm like struggling with, and I've been writing on it on and off like the last 2 weeks. Some songs I can write very fast; it just comes to me like instantly, and then some is just like I don't know, it just takes me longer than I would like to. But I usually write in my car for the most part. I have a home studio, so sometimes I write there as well. But I normally get my inspiration in my car while I'm driving. But my routine, I guess you could say, as far as writing and picking songs and all that, is I'll usually listen to a beat and I'll just let it talk to me. My mood has a lot to do with it also. If I'm depressed and down or whatever, like I'll pick something a lot more dark, or if it's more of like an upbeat song or something, I'm usually like in a happier mood. And it really all depends. Every song I've ever done really does have like this backstory behind it as far as me writing it, what I was doing, how I was feeling, what exactly am I writing about. I don't always write about like the absolute present. Like a lot of songs I write, I kind of like, take myself to that moment in time. Like say it could have been like just 1 month, like 5 years ago, and how I felt and like the things that were going on in my life and,
Sure.
who I was hanging out with, etc. And I'll just place myself, in that moment of time, that interval, of time and really just write my story.
That's beautiful. When you wrote the song "Drug Addiction,"
Mm-hmm.
did you anticipate the impact that it was going to have on our community?
And no, absolutely not. Because I mean, ever since I really first started writing back in 2005, and releasing songs, at that time, I've always kind of wrote about addiction. I've always wrote about addiction and recovery because I was around the first time that I got clean was like 2004, 2005. So when I first got clean, the very first time, I was just writing about my life because I would listen to these hip hop artists, from wherever they were from, New York, etc. And they were just basically displaying their life, So that's what I was doing, and I would write about past times as far as using, but then I'd also write about what I was doing now as far as trying to get clean and live a better life. But really, as far as drug addiction, it was really just the next song that I was writing, and I think I heard this freestyle by somebody, and it was just a really detailed freestyle about his life as far as going to prison and like growing up in the projects and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff I really couldn't relate to, but it was so detailed, and I remember being like, you know what, I should just like write something that's very, very like like detailed to the point of how I used to live my life and where I am today.
It
And
is
honestly, that's where drug addiction came.
so graphic and so on point for those of us that have lived that lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
I have been in the audience of several hundred people when you were performing, and to look around and to see and hear the majority of the audience singing along with you, it's such a powerful, very spiritual experience.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. I've been through so much through my music, and like even in my newest song, I talk about how like I did music for over 10 years without an audience, and like and that's true. It's just always been like a passion and a love of mine, and I would just make song after song, and like no one would listen to it, but like it just doesn't matter. Like it's what I love. It's what I loved, and it just that really is what always fueled my desire and has fueled my motivation to keep going. It wasn't about like you know, having, thousands of views on YouTube or whatever. It really was just about, you know, personal, I just wanted to like, feel that freedom. And the way that I felt that freedom, through recovery was jotting down and writing everything that I went through, everything I was going through, every feeling I was feeling that I didn't know how to identify, that I didn't know how to deal with. And just by doing that, it really did like skyrocket like every like part of my recovery, as far as confidence, as far as like I said, just like the bondage from self, the self obsession, like thoughts. I mean, all of it. It's helped me so much. I can't even explain it.
It's to me, it sounds like it's a reoccurring fourth step for you.
Yeah, I mean, in so many words, like my music's obviously not my step work, but like, I mean, honestly, like in a way, it kind of has been over the years because it's basically my life documented, on paper, documented on YouTube or wherever.
Hmm. Absolutely. Um, so, in escaping addiction, what was your largest hurdle? What was the most? What was the reoccurring theme that kept you in it that you had to overcome?
I mean, I look back at my recovery process, and so many relapses and so many, things holding me back. But if I want to go back to like the very, very beginning, it really was just about like truly giving myself a chance and realizing that I was worth recovery,
Yeah.
because I've told my story a million times, but honestly, I would go to rehabs and I would go to detoxes and like, and I really would like, I would hear everything that was being told to me, but I never listened. I never listened to the advice, the suggestions, the direction that people were trying to give me. And every single time I left a rehab, every single time I left jail, detox, I always used within the first 6 hours because I would be released, and all these tools that I should have like really have, I should have been practicing as far as, getting ready for war, getting ready for combat. Like I just would completely neglect them, and I would be back on the streets, and I would get this overwhelming obsession to use, and I wouldn't know how to handle it. And the only way that I knew how to handle it was put drugs and alcohol into my system. And but after like really finally giving myself a chance, and maybe the first time I got clean, I got a year, and then many stumbles and hurdles through all that. It really was just you know dealing with feelings that I didn't know how to deal with, and I look at the majority of my relapses with multiple years clean, and it was always the end of a relationship, with a significant other, and and I would always encounter new feelings and hit these new levels of pain that I never touched before, and and I would use.
Yes, sir. I can totally relate to that. Um, what was my next question? Through the your path through recovery, can you talk about how the 12 steps of recovery helped you? 12 steps of the 12-step program in general.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, like I would not be alive today if it was not for the 12-step, program that I attend and practice. And I truly mean that. I really would be dead or in prison if it was not for everything that I was taught and the spiritual principles, and embodied in the 12 steps and in the program that I practice. And nothing, because so when I first got clean, like so many of us, and when I say all this, like, listen, I'm just speaking my story, I'm just sharing my experience, but
Yes.
I really did think that, like, it was just heroin was my problem. If I could
Mhm.
just stop, if I could just become abstinent, like I would be okay. And
Mhm.
and then after I get clean, though, I seen that addiction was much more than the drugs I used. And what I mean by that was, once again, the feelings of everything. And it might have been the feelings of inadequacy, or, self doubt, or lack of confidence, or, I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, I hate myself. Why do I feel depression? Why is there anxiety? Why do I feel like I'm never good enough? Why do I feel like I have no friends, even when my friends are telling me that they love and care about me? So it
How do you
really
how do you
was.
combat that? How do you combat that? How do you fight that thought in your head?
I mean, for me, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of trial and error. But honestly, like, my thinking today, like, I'm gonna fast forward, then I'll get back. My thinking today is a lot different. I believe that I've matured. I believe that I'm obviously older now. I believe I've had more time in the program. But really, my perception of reality, my perception of the way that I perceive the world and everything in it, and everything has completely changed for the better. And what I mean by that was, like, I really can't dwell on certain things that I know that I'm powerless over. And when I say that, it really does give a lot of acceptance in my life. And it's easy for me to surrender to something for the most part, unless it's something completely tragic or life altering. But it's easy for me to surrender to something that I know that I have absolutely no power over. Like, why even stress myself out? But I got through, like, the negative thinking that I still may get today from time to time. But, like, I got through that by really just doing everything that's suggested of me, through a 12-step program, to be honest.
Mhm. And it helps to have people around you that are successful in that program as well, right?
Absolutely. Like, my predecessors, my friends, everyone, newcomer, it doesn't matter. Like, I get strength, I draw strength from absolutely everybody. People in and out of the program, it doesn't matter. I get strength from everybody.
That's awesome. So I'm going to jump ahead of my interview here, but I just can't wait to throw. I want to throw this picture up.
Yeah.
Who is that?
That's my best friend.
She is so adorable.
Yeah. That's Brielle. That's Brielle Jane, and that is my best friend. And I don't know, absolutely love her.
So what does it mean to you to be a clean and sober father?
To me, first and foremost, it's to before anything, is to be there for her. Be there for her physically, mentally, and spiritually. A lot of people know my story, but, like, when I was 6 months old, my mother left my father, and to this day, I've never met him. So, growing up, being a father was always hands down my biggest fear in life. So when I found out I was going to have a child, I was scared. But in the same breath, I was filled with nothing but faith, because I've seen that God carried me this far, and I've been through so much. Been through
Mhm.
so much, and it's like, I can handle this. I got this. We got this. We can do this. And but for me, today, it's just It is. It's just about love. It's just about really leading by example. Like the spiritual principles that were embedded into me as far as the program that I live. I try and teach her, even though she'll be 3 in July, and she's just grown and she's just talking so much and she's just mimicking me and she's just, and I don't know. I mean, I say this like with pure conviction. There's a lot of things in my life that I'm proud of, but I could honestly say that like I'm a good father, and I can say that with absolutely no hesitation. And Ashley's a great mother too, and it's just about us being, and remaining clean, and to always be there for her. And I know for myself that you know, a lot of days that, maybe I might want to self sabotage, and maybe I might want to do something that's out of my character. But like, I realize that like,
Right.
my life today isn't about me anymore, and once I realize that like, it's not about me and it's about, my child, my baby, I don't know, it just brings, some type of, clarity and comfort to me.
It's a beautiful thing to watch unfold.
Mhm.
I've known you for several years now. To watch you evolve as an artist, as a friend, as a person in recovery, it's phenomenal. You're a great role model for other men and women to follow. Just you keep plugging along against everything thrown in your direction.
Yeah, and so when I say things like, like we're like, when I tell you that I believe that anything's possible, I look back on my life and like how I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that I would never ever get and stay clean. I just didn't. I never in a million years thought that my music would reach the audience that it's reached. And I never in a million years thought that I would ever be a good father. So there's so many things that I always thought in my head that like would never happen. I could never do that. That would never happen for me. Da, 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 da. But like the fact of the matter is, when I put myself, in a position and stay aligned with what God's will is for me, I see things blossom and like really like just unravel right in front of me. So I have a lot of tangible evidence in my life that recovery, does, amazing things, but I have to put the work in, and whenever I, doubt myself, because I still do doubt myself. I do. I look at the things in my past and the things that I thought that I would never be able to conquer or get through, and I've always have.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So you're you're going on tour this summer.
Yes.
How about that? It's 2 years in a row.
Yeah, last year was a lot of fun, and everyone that I was, with, B Rain, Ram One, Joe Nestor, Casey makes music. I mean, it was incredible, and I've traveled a lot for work as far as doing shows and stuff like that, but never like that consecutive, and like, because when I travel, I always travel alone. So it was good to like be with a group of guys that I love and care for, and people that I would actually call my friend. And it really was a huge blessing to go to cities that I've never been to before, and to meet fans and supporters that I've only talked to through Facebook, or talked to through YouTube. So to meet people that support me that I've never met, for the first time, that really was like the hit for me. That really was like the blessing. Because I am only really you know, as good as, I guess you could say, what my fans think I am, and so that, it did it. I mean, it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I am so glad that you were able to link up with the Cloud Gang guys. Uh,
Absolutely.
they're about it for the right reasons, and they bring a camaraderie and family aspect
Yeah, for
to
sure.
everything, and the message of recovery. Everybody works a program, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't not only talk it but they walk it out.
Uh huh.
So what's new on what's new in your world? What do you have coming up that you'd like to
Uh,
share with?
I mean, honestly, I just I still have a lot of songs that I'm going to be releasing soon. A lot of songs that I'm writing on. Like I said, I had a couple shows next month in Kansas and New York and stuff, but they got canceled, of course. So
Mhm.
at this moment, I'm really just chilling, and I still do outreach, so I'm still talking to people as far as getting them into treatment, and so I mean, I really just do that and just work on my music and hang out with my daughter, and I mean, at this moment, I kind of just feel like everything's at a standstill, and I hate to say that, but I just do. I mean, because of our, everything that's going on right now, but it doesn't mean that I can't be productive because
Absolutely.
I'm constantly working, in one way or another on something in my life, so just trying to stay busy.
When you come back to Florida,
Possibly in a couple weeks.
I would like to. I would like to see you. I want to bring you to my new place.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it down there? I talked to a mutual friend of ours, and he said really nothing's even really changed.
Not a
So,
not a whole lot. There are less people on the roads.
is there?
There's a curfew imposed. Walmart is bare mostly for the groceries and water. Um, I think a lot of people are adhering to the guidelines, and they're taking this seriously, as they should.
Yeah, I seen something about Broward County. Is that, did I say that correctly?
Broward is south of
Yeah.
me.
Okay. Yeah. So they were saying that they were sending the National Guard there. I don't know if that was true. I don't know if that's like another. Like I don't really panic about this because I don't. Out of all the stuff I read and see and just, I have no idea what's true or not.
So tell me, how important is your faith to you?
Honestly, it's very important because I don't know. Like, I wouldn't. Once again, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without it. Something as simple as what we just talked about. Like, I don't really. I'm not going to sit here and panic about it because I don't really panic until it's time to panic.
Right.
But my faith is very strong because once again, there's a lot of things in my life that has happened that are really like unexplainable. And when I see the progression that I've made and when I see that, the hurdles that I may have gotten over, it really does always strengthen, my faith, and my relationship with a higher power, my relationship with God. And that is, one thing I'm constantly working on. And, in order for me to maintain, a faith, I mean, a lot of aspects come into play for it, obviously, but I mean, really, just by like staying clean and like living right, treating people good, I mean, just the basics, the basic human nature of trying to be a good person, that is something that has definitely kept, has kept my faith good.
That's absolutely one second. I'm responding to a message right now. Somebody was asking for help. Um, what platforms can people find you? Where can they find your music? I'm sure a lot of people already know,
Yeah. No,
but
I mean,
there are new platforms coming out all the time.
yeah, I mean, really, my music's pretty much uploaded to everything. So, I mean, any platform you can really think of. I spelled my name correctly there on the screen, so you just got to do that, or you can just Google my name, and it'll point you in the right directions.
Is there going to be an album coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm aiming for summer. I have enough material, or I will at least by then. So, I don't really have a name yet or anything like that, but yeah, I would say definitely by summer.
Hold on one second. Would you be open to bringing on a viewer or two?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, pay attention, folks. Who would like to jump on for a minute to say hello to Chaz Smith, Colicchie? Just say hi. Let him know what your favorite song is. Please let me know in the comments. Bum, oh. Boom. Uh-oh. I heard a pop. Somebody popped on. Oh no, Big Dave.
What up?
How are
What's
you?
going on?
What's up, guys?
How are you?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, Chaz?
Good,
Good to
man.
see y'all.
How's everything going on your side of the country?
It's interesting, man. You know, we're on self-imposed lockdown here. You know, as you know, we're just a little bit north of Denver, and there's a lot of stuff going on just south of us, a lot of cases, but you know, taking a lot of time to reach out to people, get people connected to Zoom meetings, um, and just keep people, you know, in a recovery focused mindset. You know what I mean? And assure people everything's gonna be all right. You know, everything's gonna be all right. You know, we gotta. I don't know about you, Higgy and Chaz, but I got a powerful God, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. What is your favorite song that by that Colicchie does?
well, it's got to be. I was able to share this with Chaz back in Denver, but you know, I like all of his music, man. But you know, it's definitely drug addiction, because here I was at the 6-month point in my recovery, right? And 6 months was always where I fell off. Is my audio good? I don't have headphones with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
And I was working, man, and this dude kept bringing coke to work, and all I could think about was rocking that coke, man, and I was scared to death that I was gonna fall off at 6 months, and you know, I had Spotify, so I started praying to God, and I was like, God, please just get me through this. Don't let me do this. You know, I don't want to be a repeat of what I've always done. And so I was praying to God, I mean, just constantly for like this whole week. And so I started looking through Spotify, and I was like, recovery music, and it brought up Colicchie, man, and I started listening to it, and I was like, that's my fucking story. That's my story. This dude knows my story.
Yep.
And you got me through that time, bro. You got me through that time, and after about a week of battling with that issue, God lifted the desire to use from me, and now I'm almost. Next month, I celebrate 3 years.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
You know? Yeah. So, you know, I mean, they're all good, man. All the music's good. You know, Mount Rushmore was good. You know, but that song, I'll never forget. I mean, that song helped me get through an awakening, you know. Before that, it was Hurt by Johnny Cash, you know, and that song got me through some heavy stuff, and now, like, you know, I appreciate your music, Colicchie. You know, I think I'm gonna be seeing you in May if the world calms down a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, kind of how what Higgy and I were just talking about. That is what increases my faith, is whenever I'm in situations how you just explained, where, you know, you might have that gut wrenching obsession to want to use, but then you find out that there are other ways to combat it other than using, and by that and getting through it, you know. And then I would think to myself, okay, well, if I got through that without using, then I can get through the next issue without using. I can get through whatever happens next without using. And by, you know, the small baby steps and the small things turn into, you know, huge hurdles and huge events. And, you know, getting through so many small things. And then whenever you prepare yourself for that one big thing that comes up, and then you get over that and you get through that, and then you're like, okay, now I can see my faith is strong, and now I can see that I can really do this.
That's right. Well, that's like this whole thing going on, man. Like, not once has the thought of going out and using entered my mind. You know, I just lost my grandma 2 weeks ago, and I got to go out to Omaha. I got to go to a convention. And in the process, I got to go spend time on it with my grandma while she was on her deathbed. She, you know, that's where my family lives, is Omaha, and I didn't think about using it. I got to go back to the convention after sitting on her bed with her, and tell people what recovery looks like and how I got through that. And now I'm at a convention and I'm sharing my message. Like, we don't have to use no matter what.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know,
So I have a friend from Ohio that would like to jump on as well. He's
of course.
been kind of struggling. His name is Scribe Martinez. What's up, Scribe?
what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, brother?
I'm hanging in there right now. You know, it's rough.
You sent me a message earlier saying you were struggling. So I wanted to bring you on here with two other guys in long-term recovery to maybe you could air it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was listening earlier about his faith and how important that is. You know, my biggest struggle right now is that I'm mad at God and that I was in a relationship with God and it was strong. I was speaking to people. I was speaking at events. I mean, shit, I spoke in front of 14,000 people. I mean, I was silent. And then just slowly but surely, it's gone. It's been going. And my brother, he was 31, and he died 2 months ago.
I'm so sorry.
And it just the way it happened, like, I'm like, God, how happened? Somebody was there with him, and they cleaned the whole apartment and left him there. He got found 2 days later.
Wow.
And it's rough, man.
Yeah.
And when I look at everything, I'm like, I'm trying to get back to that spot, and it's hard. I know faith is important.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's where it's at because I found it there. But to get back to it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just my experience, and you know, when I talk about all the stuff that like I've practiced, and when I talk about all the stuff that that I've done for my recovery, I also like to implement that this stuff for me really comes in seasons. What I mean by that is, like, I may have times in my life where my prayer is very, very strong. And then I might have times in my life where, like, it truly does seem artificial, but I'm just going through the motions. And for me, it's always been about hanging on through them times where, I feel distant from God, or I feel distant from, the program, or I feel distant from my friends. Really just hanging on through all them times and to see that it really is just a phase that I'm going through. It might last a day, it might last a week, it might last, a couple weeks. But it really is just about, like, holding on. Because when I got clean this last time, I was so broken on the inside. I mean, I literally was shattered. And one of my biggest goals was to get that relationship with God again that, that I had, in the past. Only to find out that, after I had like 45 days clean, it finally started to, like, come back to life for me. And, if you know my story, I was in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I was praying on the beach every single night. And it gradually became, stronger than ever. And it didn't stay that way. It's constant like this. Everything I do in recovery is constantly like this. But it really is just about, like, holding on just a little bit longer, to get back to the point where it's like that. Does that make any sense?
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Your song "Hope" isn't that kind of what it's about?
Yeah, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hold on, pain ends.
Yeah.
that's right.
Have you heard that song, Scribe?
No, I haven't.
If
Check it out.
check it out, it's off of my favorite album by Colicchie.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
16 Days Apart. Is that right?
19 days apart.
19 days. Dang it. How much of a favorite could it be if I can't get the number right? I get in the car and put that on repeat and just drive. I love it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Dave,
Music is a lot.
So this is what I know, man. Like, you know, the God of my understanding, you know, I was angry at God too for a long time, right? You know, I was resentful. How could you do this to me? And why would you do these things to me? And why do you take people from me I love? And, you know, when I started to get right, what I realized, man, is God didn't want to harm me. What He wants is for me to leave Him when things get hard, when people I love are taken from me unfairly. You know, the thing that happens in the world is bad because man has free will. You know?
Mhm.
To lean on Him when things get hard. You know, and when I walked away, I blamed Him, and I couldn't see that what He wanted me to do was trust in Him and have faith and hope that things would get better and that there would be a gift in the pain. You know? There would be a gift at the end, and I don't always know what it is. You know, sometimes it's not revealed for years, weeks, months, but there's always a gift, man. And when I walk away from God, you know, I no longer have that thing to lean on, that comfort, you know, and usually on me. God never walked away from me. God never caused me pain. You know, I'll tell you what, man, I held the burden of killing my best friend for a long time because I gave him the drugs that killed him.
Yeah.
You know, and what I ultimately discovered was he was his own addict, man. He was responsible for his own disease. And whether I gave him the dope or somebody else gave him the dope, he was gonna die.
Sure.
Just like I was gonna die if I didn't get clean and find a new way of life.
Yeah.
It seems so unfair, you know. And I had to have a conversation with his mother a couple of weeks ago, and she didn't know anything about this for the last 15 years. She didn't even know he was an addict, man. And I got to make that amends to her, you know. And it was probably one of the hardest conversations I'd ever had. And I just lost my grandmother, and you know, and all of a sudden we're going through this crazy time in the world, right? And it's like my life has come to a stop, you know, but so has everybody else's, and we're in this together. And God wants us to get closer, you know. He wants us to rely on each other and love each other and show each other compassion and empathy. You know, that's what God wants from us. He doesn't want to hurt us, bro.
Now, you know, what I will say is, God has the name God for a reason. You know, He is all knowing. If He is worthy of praise and faith, we have to trust and believe that there's a reason for the things that happen in our life and why we are powerless over these things. You know, it's supposed to strengthen our faith. You know, not only just test it, but I really believe that, you know, he wants us to be loyal, faithful servants and to lean on Him. That's what faith to me is all about. And I realized throughout my addiction and trying to recover that I carry baggage and burdens that I have no business carrying because it negatively affects me and how I view myself. You know, things that are out of my control, I want to have control over. And it affected how I felt about me. It affected how I viewed myself and what my place in this world is. And that's not what God wants for me. He wants me to know my value. He wants me to know my worth. He wants me to find my strength to rise above any situation that's presented before me. So that when I do that, people watching me will gain strength from that and be empowered. So people that know your struggle are watching you. And if you can find the strength and the courage to reconnect with your higher power, he will empower you and bless you. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Amen.
And in doing that, you're going to empower and strengthen other men and women. I've seen videos of you speaking to other men, you know, a large group of men talking about how great God is and stuff like that. You can't let this take away from the value that God adds to your life and what he gives to you and helps you find meaning to turn your pain into purpose, because you have a past like mine. We've been to prison. We've suffered the consequences from the drug and criminal lifestyle and the drug, you know, the addiction, all of that. We have risen above that at this point. There's no sense in going backwards now and falling back into that pattern and feeling freaking sorry for ourselves. These things are out of our control, and your brother doesn't want you dwelling, hurting, you know, doesn't want you feeling like you're less than or that you have no value, because that is the truth.
Yeah.
So hit your knees and pray, will you, tonight?
Yeah.
So the other thought I had was, this gift that I was talking about, like sometimes we go through things so that we could show other people how to go through things, because somebody's going to be in your exact spot in the next 5 minutes, literally in the next 5 minutes. And someday you're going to go on and you're going to be able to share your story, just like Colicchie shared his story with so many people to help so many of us, get through those tough times. And it's all we're trying to do is carry a message of hope, man. And someday this is going to be your message.
That's right.
I believe it. I believe it. It's hard. It's hard when you're in the midst of it.
Absolutely.
To see it. I know it's there because he's shown me before.
Help so many of us, get through those tough times and
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How's your wife doing?
My wife's doing great. She's doing really good. She actually just finished her associate's degree. She's going for her bachelor's now. And she's doing for substance abuse counseling. So she's awesome.
You said she was sick. I thought maybe she had the coronavirus.
We were all sick for a minute. They had us. We had to be in quarantine in our house or whatever until somebody else's test came back. It came back negative though.
Great.
But she's good. We're all good.
Okay. So, well, thank you for jumping on here, Scribe. If you need anything,
thanks, I appreciate it.
Reach out to me if you need anything.
All right, bud. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, man.
All right. Love you, dude.
Thanks, Scribe.
All right.
Take care. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, fellas. Thanks to Big Dave for jumping on here.
Yeah.
I had invited several people. They have not checked their messenger, but we're coming up on an hour, and I don't want to. Chaz has been writing music all day, and he took the time out to jump on this live, and I love you, Chaz. Thank you very much. and thank you for checking in on me from time to time. It was a rough summer, but I'm much better now.
Good.
All because of friends like you and Dave and a multitude of other people. I know an army of men and women in recovery that have the knowledge that'll share it with anybody. Please, if you're out there struggling, reach out. My messenger is always open. I know Chaz, he personally answers his own messages. Big Dave, he's always there. Aaron Quinlan, she's always there. Mike Sedjo, dealers. We're there to help everybody, no matter what. So when's your next song dropping, Chaz?
When's my next what?
Song.
I'm gonna try and put it out either Wednesday or Thursday.
Right on. Are you doing all the editing?
For the lyric videos and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm
gonna have to do one on the coronavirus, how we all survived it.
Yeah, I know.
People need to be documenting this time in their lives, just doing little videos, throwing it up there, because this is a very chaotic and dark time, and it's going to be fun to look back and see how we entertained ourselves, how we maintained our sanity. Doing lives like this, this is why I asked Chaz earlier today, just impromptu, if he would like to, just because we need to stay connected. We need to hear a message of recovery and a message of hope. So again, I thank you both for jumping on here, Chaz. I love you. I hope to see you soon. Please let me know when you come by. I'd like you to come by and check out my place.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Please keep your head up and your chin down. Remember, no matter how far you've traveled the wrong road, you can always turn around.
That's right.
Amen, brother.
All right.
We're all hope shots and miracles and living proof.
Living proof, baby. Living proof. I love it. I love you all.
Thank you, guys.
Out.
Love you all.
Good night.